tavern in the Neverwinter guard post. The journey was
All right, here we go. This is why hitting level 10 is great. This is where a lot of stuff starts to unlock. It's honestly kind of like the level 10 of World of Warcraft. That's when your skill tree finally opens up before you and you have all these abilities you can do now. So what have I got? You can see here tons of stuff. My Adventurer's Level Up box has leveled up. So let me click on that. And what's beautiful is you can see here it tells you when you've done each of these after you've checked on them. So you get the box 3, which will open up at 13, so every 5 levels. Portable altar, 5 healing potions, teleport scrolls that take me back to town. Great. New task, Domination PvP.
Controls access to the player versus player arena.
Oh, hey, here we go. Blacklake Terror. Oh, this will be good. Finally get the skirmish. So cool. I can end on that after I get these here. So yeah, I mean, you can check off so you know. And here we've got, it gives you a quest actually for going into PvP. New feat. So I've got a feat point. So here we go. I finally can go in here. I've got my Trickster Rogue. I've got 3 different things I can choose from right now. And I've got 1 point available to me. So I can pick here. Action advantage. I get 2, 4, 6, 8, or 10% additional action points for dealing, well, after we get in here. Character. Sorry, for dealing combat advantage damage. So that's basically when the enemy is not targeting me. I get more action points, which allows me to do my daily more often. I have up to 5 ranks in that. Now, anytime I put 5 ranks into this tier, the next tier opens up. So just like skill trees that you might be used to. So I go on here, we can see I have Weapon Mastery, 1, 2, and 3% greater chance to land a critical hit. And here, maximum hit points increased by 3, 6, 9. Now, I kind of like having more hit points, but I kind of want to have more action points. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to commit the changes. Okay. At any point I can respec. Nothing to do here. Alright, so I've got my stealth. As you can see on the tab key, I can stealth. I get stealth for 5 seconds. You can see the meter on the left is the stealth bar. So 5 seconds of stealth and then it's gone. Then it takes roughly the same amount of time to recharge. So just go ahead and go around. We're going to do a bunch of damage. If I stealth while using, and then I use my E ability, the strike, it will do more damage. So what I'll do is I'm going to kind of come up here, we'll do that, and I'll just show you that R right there. See, 598 damage. That is quite a bit of damage. So we're going to go ahead and come up here, we're going to go ahead and use the Q. So you can see my stealth meter is back up. I hit tab, and I've got 5 seconds of stealth. If I use at will, I don't break stealth. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to initiate these guys. Go ahead and use my R. Take these guys down. So I'm going to go stealth, and I'm going to work on this guy here. I can't go stealth yet. So when you're in combat, what happens is the stealth meter regenerates a little more slowly than when you're out of combat. Basically, if you're not taking hits, what I've noticed is if I'm not taking hits, it regenerates. But if I take a hit, it might go down. It's one of those things where you can only really go into stealth if you aren't, getting hit. Basically, you have to have an opportunity to go into stealth, really. So here we can see the need and greed system. Much like Warcraft, again, I compare a lot of stuff to Warcraft because that's the MMO I pretty much played the most. I'm going to go ahead, and I can't use it, so I'm going to pass on it. So I'm going to go stealth, and then you can see here I'm going to use my at will to do a whole bunch of damage. I'm going to wait for the meter to nearly go down. Well, I did it too late. But if I waited for the meter to nearly drop and then use my bait and switch, I could have maintained the stealth, doing even more damage. And then what I can do is, when it's about to finish again, follow up with my lashing blade to do a whole bunch of damage. I basically stay stealth 5 seconds, or about 4 seconds roughly, regenerate the stealth, and then pop lashing. So let's just go over here. We're going to go ahead and try it. So I'm stealth. Got a couple seconds of stealth, and I'm just going to go ahead and regenerate the stealth. Keep going, and then at the end, there we go. So you see how that works. Alright, let's go ahead and stun this guy, and we're going to go ahead and pop my daily. Almost got my stealth bar back up. Stun. There we go. And now we have to defeat the Chosen of Guanadar. I'm guessing. Yes. Alright, so let's make this happen. Let's just stealth, get behind him, and just go ahead and keep doing that. Bar's nearly empty. Oh, let's try and stun him. I did not use my strongest hitting ability in favor of a stun. Let's go ahead and get out of that. While he's doing his range, I'm going to just throw a bunch of daggers. Stealth is back up, so I'm going to go ahead and pop it for more damage. And then let's just go ahead and do the stun. See, I could pop my bait and switch to try and get more action points, but I'm going to wait for my stealth to come back up. Alright, let's go ahead and pop my Q. Let's go into the stealth. Alright, do bait and switch. Oh, I got knocked prone, so I couldn't do it. Oh well, I was able to do Lashing Strike anyway. And there we go. Taken care of. So let's go in here and we can see this is what I was talking about. You get pretty much ranked with the people you're with. And so Pain Giver, most damage dealt. As you can see, me as the rogue of the group, I got about 50% more damage. Almost double, really, but I'd say about 50% more damage. Maybe a bit more than the rest of the group. So massive damage I was able to put off there. It looks like the queuing system gave us one of each, honestly. You look at that, we've got the Great Weapon Fighter, we've got a Devoted Cleric, the Guardian, and oh, another Trickster Rogue. Okay. Well, and that was the next closest. I just did a lot of damage. I must just be good at using rotations. It comes from playing WoW. Alright, so the immovable object, most damage taken. We can see that number one comes to Sleopatra, who is this person who is our Guardian Fighter. So obviously they should have taken the most. Of course, second came from Mutton Chops, who is our Cleric. Go figure, right? Alright. What else do we have? We have the Living Dead, most times fallen. Well, none of us fell. That's good. Field Medic, of course, goes to our Cleric. Although a couple more healing there. So there you go. Most enemies slain. So obviously I didn't get that one. I did get 35, but most of them went to Sleopatra, our tank. And that kind of makes sense. You know, the tank's out there in the middle, in the thick of things, and they're going to be getting, you know, a lot of last hits. So, not bad. I like the fact that you can see that and actually take a look at your rankings. And of course, now that you're done with this little skirmish, this kind of instance, if you will, you can go ahead and use the chest, and I get 2 silver for completing this event. Which isn't bad, honestly, for the work it was. I mean, that was pretty easy, quite honestly. And then you see here's the exit to the entrance, or to the instance. Alright, so I was kind of using my powers without really going over them. I'm going to do a bit more here now that I'm back in the world. Let's see, I earned 2 ability points, so this comes with the D&D territory. I can increase my attributes. I have 2 points. I can spend it in any 2 that I want. I cannot do one more than once. See that? So obviously it's generally considered a good idea to put into your secondaries or your primary. Considering that this doesn't use the conventional systems like 20 dex, you know, that's like a +5 normally. Like if you were doing D&D, you would roll your damage and then you would get 5 additional damage or something like that. Well, in D&D usually I think dex doesn't account for damage, but it would be for like 2 hit. You know, say if I had 20 strength or something like that. That's usually how that works. But in this you can see that it doesn't quite work that way. So I can get more dex and get more critical chance, AoE resistance, and some more deflection, which is not a bad idea. If I were to put one into that,
Have a minute.
doesn't really show you, does it? It's really hard to say what I want to put it into, you know, because I've got 13 in the strength. Normally I would want to put a 1 into that because 14 is the threshold for gaining an additional plus, usually. You know, maybe it is kind of following the same convention. Hold on. 10 is pretty average, so it's 0. 15, no, it's plus 5. Because I was looking at this and it says plus 3 strength. It's a little low for plus 3. Alright. Well,
Adventurer.
I like that that's deflection. I like that this is deflection. Having a bit more deflection is really nice. That also gives me combat advantage, and if I'm going to be stealthing a lot, that'll work. Of course, having stamina... As you can see, there's really different reasons why you want to go into different ones, including even intelligence for getting more recharge speed to be able to do my abilities more often. And of course, wisdom is control bonus and resist. That I still am not 100% sure on how that applies to this game. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get a bit of charisma and dex, I think. Well, you know what? Maybe not charisma. Let's do strength. I don't need to get deflection twice. We'll do that. We'll hit accept. Are you sure you want to increment these? I'm going to just go ahead and yes. Actually, before I do that, you can see you can do it at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. All the way through. Actually, looks like at level 60 you get a +1 to everything anyway. Yep, you get a +1 to anything on 60. But up until then you have to choose. Done. So, whereas feats, see here I can respec feats, but I have to use these gems to do it.
The Neverwinter Guard requires assistance.
When it comes to my attributes, looks like it's final. I don't get to change it at all.
Hail, adventurer.
Alright, so yeah, you gotta be careful there. Pick what you want. Be sure about your choice. So let's look at powers. When I went up to 10, obviously I got stealth, slip into the shadows, conceal yourself from enemies, combat advantage against targets that aren't aware of you, and your encounter powers gain new effects. And of course, sneak attack, 25% additional damage while stealth. We look at the abilities I currently have. Dazing Strike, of course, faster when I use it in stealth. Bait and Switch regenerates the stealth bar. Death Strike, as you can see, had longer range, and Lashing Blade does more damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Lurker Strike. We're going to try that out. I'm going to get that up so we can just see how long in stealth I can last. Because what it gives me my stealth meter regeneration very quickly. So I could probably go stealth and stay stealth and just do a whole bunch of damage while using that. And so I'm looking forward to that because that also gives me allows me to use action points to maintain it. So I have to return back to the Alchemist to turn in my Blacklake quest. So let's do that. I'm going to return, and we'll end it once I return and we take a look at some of this. We look at the reward and then we take a look at the rest of the abilities I have. We'll go ahead and end that for this one. I think that's a good spot. And this will give you a good idea of how the combat works. I think level 10 is a good stopping point, and I am going to move on to a different character just to try and get some more content done. Obviously got set back by an hour by a update. As I work my way back, we can see that the skirmish still exists for me, as well as I now have PvP Domination as an available queue. So it looks like I can go back in there and do it again if I want to get more gold for completing it. Of course, what I'm doing back now is I'm doing a quest reward. So the quest was there to introduce me to the fact that there was this skirmish, and so now I can continue to do it if I so desire. So it's almost like running instances over and over again.
Most folks consider...
So it looks like it's just 44 experience, 16 copper. That's not terrible, considering that it was pretty much just designed to get me into it the first time. So let's get my action points up. I want to see how much time I can spend stealth. those guys here. Let's find this big group over here. I'm going to... Yeah, there should be a big, powerful group here that's going to spawn in a moment. Okay, so let's stealth. Oh, it wasn't available. Okay. Well, that didn't work out the way I wanted, did it? It's okay, we'll do it again. We'll make it work this time. It just looked like it was full. I was off just by a tiny bit. But that's okay. Yeah, see, the interaction thing is still here. It's silly. Shouldn't be. Alright, well, it's unfortunate that this character is going to get deleted because obviously I only have 2 character slots, and I already have a rogue. I wanted to start with the rogue since I knew him better than others. I think next I'm going to work on the control wizard. That will be fun, as I'm looking forward to seeing how casting works in this, especially considering the control wizard is not really a raw DPS, but does a lot of crowd control, stuns, freezes, and all that wonderful, wonderful stuff. Alright, let's do this. We're going to stealth. We're going to activate that. And as you can see, my stealth meter is pretty much staying where it is. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can just basically stay, and then once that wears off, stealth meter is still going down. I can recharge it, and then, yep, just keep attacking, and then use my encounter ability. Yeah, that's nice. Does it enhance encounter abilities? No. But that's a beautiful daily. If you like being stealth, if you like just sticking around like that, then yeah, I recommend this daily. That's fantastic. Oh, that's beautiful. Alright, just so we can get a rough idea of what else is out there when it comes to dailies. I already kind of looked at some of the others. The Shadow Strike, this is really good, honestly. It recharges your stealth meter when you hit people with it. Impact Shot I haven't tried before. It looks like it stuns and costs no charges when you... Let me see. Attacks your opponent from a medium range, pushing them slightly. It has 3 encounter charges, briefly stuns, and costs no charges if you're stealth. Okay, so the encounter charges are probably like the knives here. And it's unfortunate that I can't really show this next at will, the Duelist Flurry. It's not bad. It's very quick attacks. It attacks much slower than this standard ability in the first 2 hits, but then it hits a lot for the next few hits. So it does a lot more damage over time, but it is a horrible ability for someone who's staying stealth because you can't go out of the animation in order to use a finishing move or something like that. Great if you're going to stick into combat and use your at-wills for just stand-up combat, but not for using stealth. So we've got, let's just look at the other dailies so you can see what you've got. Whirling Blades, you whip your daggers out around you, you deal minor damage, but you gain power for each enemy you hit, so it's basically if you're fighting a big group, you can charge yourself up and do more power. Bloodbath levels up, Lurker's Assault levels up. Continues. Okay, Courage Breaker. Shatter your enemy's courage, slowing their movement speed and lowering their attack damage dramatically. It does not. The effect goes through control immunities. Oh, okay. So if they're immune to control effects, it still works. That's cool. All right, there you go. Those are the special abilities, and then you have Paragon Powers. Now, unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure how the Paragon Powers work. As you can see here, it almost looks like that's what these are. When you pick your tree, obviously you have to get through all of your tiers here. Then you can go into a specialized area, and then these are all pretty much passes. As you can see, stealth, you build more action points. Dodge, less stamina. Grants percentage of stealth when you're using Gloaming Cut. Baited action, bait and switch dummy has more health and reflects damage. That's nice. While stealth, you gain run speed, and your at-will powers reduce your target's damage. Sneak of Shadows, deal more damage while stealth. There we go. This is probably where I would go. I like Saboteur. And Unerring Ambush strikes with Death Strike, Dazing Strike, and Blitz deal up to 20% more damage. Wow. And then you have the final ability, which is Ruthless Efficiency. When you land a killing blow, your armor penetration is increased by 30% for 6 seconds. Which is nice, but all of these are passives, right? So it makes me wonder what Paragon, you got these Paragon trees. I wonder what kind of Paragon Powers you'll get, because you'll notice at will you've got Paragon Powers, whatever your Paragon Power is for that. You've got going on Paragon Power for encounter, and even further still, Paragon Power for daily. So whatever you pick as your Paragon tree is going to greatly influence how your character plays. So it's much like having a skill tree from World of Warcraft and picking, you know, do I want to be combat? Do I want to be subtlety? Do I want to be assassination? It's kind of the exact same thing here, is what it seems like. It's just unfortunate that I don't know what abilities I'll be getting when I pick it, because it doesn't tell me. And that is one thing WoW did great, is once they went into Cataclysm and they introduced the new trees and all that, and they've even streamlined it more with Mists of Pandaria. You were shown immediately what you were going to be getting into there. So, but, you know, still not bad. I think that's just kind of a minor fault. Well, when it comes to the trees, that might be more than the minor fault, because you really want to know what powers you're getting before you pick a tree. And it seems to me that not letting a player know what they're getting into before they make that jump isn't good. So, I mean, we already have seen where you're going to get 3 abilities, an encounter, an at will, and a daily, but they don't appear to be listed there. They're all passives. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Trickster Rogue. All right, not to be confused with any other rogues that may come out with the game. That's kind of the important thing. As rumor has it that the next class will be a ranger, but it will be a dual-wielding ranger rather than, say, a bow and arrow ranger. So even though you have types of classes, they can be very different based on the way they decide to make the skills. All right, I thank you very much for watching. I'm going to move on to another class. We'll see you then. See you next time.